good morning and welcome. It's Corporate Governance Platform brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoburiu. Let me quickly remind you that ICSAN is a leading recognized professional body in Nigeria dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN is the only professional body authorized in Nigeria to conduct examinations leading to the qualification of chartered secretaries and administrators. On the program this morning, we want to look at the importance of succession planning as a corporate governance strategy. And my guest is right here in the studio with me. I have Mrs. NKECHI ONYENSO, FCIS, immediate past Registrar CEO ICSAN, and she's the current MD CEO Pathfinders International Limited, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Good morning, Mrs. Zoyin. So good to have you in the studio.
Good morning, Fumi. Absolutely a pleasure.
Okay. All right. And of course, I have Mr. NKECHI, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN. He's also right here in the studio. Good morning, Mr. NKECHI.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning to you, our guest, Mrs. NKECHI ONYENSO, FCIS, and good morning to you, all our listeners.
All right, great. And of course, before we move on to discuss this morning, again, take this message and we'll be right back.
The world is constantly evolving into a knowledge-based economy where skills and competencies constitute the lifeblood of public and corporate governance. You therefore need to empower yourself to fit into this new world by gaining basic knowledge and improving your skill set in the governance-focused disciplines. That is why every aspiring as well as practicing professional in governance field needs ICSAN.
ICSAN. What is ICSAN?
ICSAN is a leading statutorily established professional body dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN members are trained as chartered secretaries and administrators.
Who are chartered secretaries and administrators?
Chartered secretaries are high-ranking governance professionals with a broad base of skills, unique amongst other professions. They are trained in law, finance, accounting, administration, strategy development, and corporate governance. In today's world, chartered secretaries and administrators discharge a wide range of duties and responsibilities, including functioning as chairmen of companies, executive directors, non-executive directors, company secretaries, risk managers, compliance managers, board evaluators, and corporate governance evaluators.
That is interesting. How then do I become a chartered secretary and administrator?
Good. Go to the Institute's website, www.icsan.org. You can also visit the National Secretariat of ICSAN at Plot 6, Elephant Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, to get full information on how to become members. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, ICSAN, definitely the hub of governance professionals. Like I said earlier, we're looking at importance of succession planning as a corporate governance strategy. All right, Ms. Zoyin, so let's start this way. What's succession planning all about?
Thank you, Fumi. Succession planning is a strategy, or it can also be your contingency plan, to ensure that high placed or top management positions can be easily replaced should the people occupying them move on to other positions. You know, in life, change is the only thing that's constant. So they can be promoted. They can, what do they call it now? Japa. They can move on to another organization, or unfortunately, they can pass on. So you have to ensure that you are able to replace and continue seamlessly as an organization. So that's in a nutshell what corporate succession planning is all about.
All right, so let's relate it to, you know, the concept of corporate governance. How relevant is it?
It is very relevant, because if you look at the Corporate Governance Code 2018, you see, I think it's Part A, Principle 1, as part of the responsibilities of the board, they are expected to have a succession plan in place to replace the chairman, the MD, the EDs, and the non-executive directors. So it's part of corporate governance. And you know, corporate governance has to do with sustainability and also reducing your risk. So you need to have this plan to ensure that your business remains a going concern.
Great. Now, it said that lack of succession planning can jeopardize the lifespan of a business. I want you to justify this statement in the context of corporate governance.
Let's look at some organizations. I'm sure you've heard of things like Osondu Motors, Jimo Odutola Industries. These are single men industries that perhaps due to poor company governance are not around today. So if you don't have a way of ensuring that you have people always available to take up positions as they arise, you will get to a point where there's nobody to do the job and your company will have to shut down. And again, you have to ensure that not only do you have people, but they are trained, they are prepared. And if you ask me, they have the ask attributes. The ask attribute is they have the ability, they have the skill, and they have the knowledge.
Okay, great. Now, which categories of positions should succession planning target?
The corporate governance code talks about the chairman, the MD, the EDs, and the non-executive directors. However, you can also have a plan for all those on your C level. When you say C level, I'm talking about your chief operating officers, your chief financial officers, your chief security officers. From that level and above, it's important for you to have a succession plan for them. I would even recommend, depending on how small or how big your organization, that you can even come down a little bit to your supervisors, your team leads, and things like that.
All right. Now, talking about small businesses or a one-man business, now, is succession planning also important?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It is very important because, we have in this climb, we have this mentality that, I'll pass it on to my child, but then is your child ready? And if your child is not ready, or should I say if your child is not willing, your business idea will just die off. You will see that it's very difficult to see organizations past maybe 2 generations at the maximum in Nigeria, small one-owned man businesses, because it normally dies, the plan normally dies with the founder, because there's not enough corporate governance procedures, including succession planning, in place to ensure that the business ideas continue.
All right, so no matter how small the business is,
yes,
always,
even if you're just selling something outside, there should be somebody that you're teaching how to sell that thing, so that the business can keep going. And again, it will help to attract some funds to your organization when they know you have people, prospects that you're training to come up to take over the responsibility.
All right. So business lasting to many generations are in Nigeria. You mentioned that
yes.
in passing, and Africa generally compared to, developed countries.
Yes.
Let's look at some other roles apart from having, people to put people in place. What are the other roles that succession planning factor has to play in ensuring that we have, businesses lasting into, many generations?
Yeah, you've rightly said it. If you look at, you've heard of Next, you've heard of Marks and Spencer, you've heard of Rolls-Royce, you've heard of even our toothpaste, what's it called now? Maclean. So these are names that have been on for centuries, and it's not rocket science. So with a good structure, with a good succession plan in place, it will help to also motivate your employees, because they know that there's a ladder to climb. Okay, I can be the next person that can take that place. Then there will not be any gap in terms of skills requirements in your organization. There will always be somebody that will be able to do that. So your human resource will be able to build people. And when people feel encouraged, when you train them, when they feel that there's a possibility to rise, it increases their dedication and then their productivity, which in the long run affects your bottom line. And I think that's an important thing. They say success without a successor is suicide.
Wow. Okay, great. Now, I'll have you offer a few suggestions on how companies can be proactive with succession planning.
Okay, the first thing is to be proactive, to look out, to know when you need to fill a gap and who you need to work with. So you be proactive, then you will identify who you want to train or mentor. Then you tell them, like, look, I'm looking, you have these skills, we're looking for you to fill this position should the need arise, so we want to, work with you and get their buy-in. And then you train them, the HR will work with whoever is in charge of this process to identify what is lacking and what they can build on. And then you can also give them a mentor that will work with them, especially if it's the person that's already in the position. And then when you've done all that, then it will be important for you to include this strategy in your hiring hiring plan. So when you are hiring people, you're looking at, okay, what position can they possibly fill? So that it's the process that starts from the recruitment down to training, mentorship, till they eventually occupy the position. So that's what I recommend.
All right, great. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Ketefe, this question is coming to you. Does ICSAN have training scheme on the theme of succession planning?
Thank you very much for that question. Just as I've always said, the training department of the institute is reputed in Nigeria as an institute that provides top-notch training on diverse topics on governance matters, which include the topic we are talking of, succession planning.
Okay.
This training comes in two folds. The first is the periodic training that the training department organizes from time to time. And this one is organized all over the years, and numerous topics are treated in governance. People can easily attend. The second one is the specialized training that is organized for specific companies and organizations and firms that request for it. This one is just like a kind of implant training that is tailor-made for the organization that requests for it. ICSAN has been providing excellent services on these two fronts over the years, and I will use this opportunity to invite organizations, firms, businesses to take advantage of this service to build the capacity of their directors, members of their senior executive, on not only on the issue of succession planning, but virtually on all issues, topics in corporate governance. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ketefe. Any announcement?
Thank you. The announcement we have for our listener today is on ICSAN trainings, virtual training series that is coming up on December 15th, 2022. The topic of the training is Governance, Risk Management and Compliance, GRC. This training will assist participants in addressing and understanding fundamental GRC concepts such as corporate governance, effective risk management, methods of mitigating operational and enterprise risk, and essential duties of key compliance and risk management positions. The participation fee for this training is as follows. For members is 20,000 naira, non-members 25,000 naira, and there is a special discount for students. So the students will be given the allowance to pay just 15,000 naira. Once again, the training is coming up on the 15th of December 2022 and is going to be held by virtual method. The training is meant for all professionals in the field of governance, but specifically designed for legal counsel, company secretaries, compliance officers, risk management officers, executive directors, and members of the board. Let me also add that this training will attract 2 credit points for members. For further information, for further inquiries on this training, please call Mike on 080-321-00462. Let me take that one again. Please call Mike on 080-321-00462. Thank you and have a pleasant day.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kaldi Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN. Of course, Mrs. NKECHI ONYENSO, FCIS, Immediate Past Registrar, CEO, ICSAN, and the current MDCU, Pathfinders International Limited, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you right here.
It's lovely seeing you again for me.
All right. And that's our package this morning right here on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. We'll return again next week, Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. right here on Equator 9.7 FM. I am Funmi Omoburio. Enjoy the rest of the day.
The world is constantly evolving into a knowledge-based economy where skills and competencies constitute the lifeblood of public and corporate governance. You therefore need to empower yourself to fit into this new world by gaining basic knowledge and improving your skill set in the governance-focused disciplines. That is why every aspiring as well as practicing professional in governance field needs ICSAN.
ICSAN. What is ICSAN?
ICSAN is a leading statutorily established professional professional body dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN members are trained as chartered secretaries and administrators.
Who are chartered secretaries and administrators?
Chartered secretaries are high-ranking governance professionals with a broad base of skills, unique amongst other professions. They are trained in law, finance, accounting, administration, strategy development, and corporate governance. In today's world, chartered secretaries and administrators discharge a wide range of duties and responsibilities, including functioning as chairmen of companies, executive directors, non-executive directors, company secretaries, risk managers, compliance managers, board evaluators, and corporate governance evaluators.
That is interesting. How then do I become a chartered secretary and administrator?
Good. Go to the Institute's website, www.icsan.org. You can also visit the National Secretariat of ICSAN at Plot 6, Elephant Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, to get full information on how to become members. ICSAN, the hub of governance